I did, not from our meeting this morning, but Chris, let me just start by saying what a complete and utter mess. And this is a gift to Putin. And make no mistake, and I hope the American people get this, that this makes us look weak. And it's not normal behavior. The United States, Chris, we are a superpower. Our powers, our military, our economy, our diplomatic corps, our professionalism. This was not professional. We don't gain anything by acting like bullies. And this is what bullies do. And just because you act this way, by the way, it doesn't mean that you're tough.
Donald Trump's meeting with President Zelensky today in the Oval Office marked the absolute low point of his presidency and may be one of the most humiliating moments in American history. But there was so much more to unpack and so much that revealed what Donald Trump is looking to do in support of his puppet master Vladimir Putin. And we saw that in particular with how he responded to Caitlin Collins when asking about a potential minerals deal that it looks like Trump is taking off the table. Now, we are going to get into all of that and how Trump just started attacking Collins. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into that clip, I first want to check out a couple of things Jessica Tarlow had to say in response to Trump, because I think it provides some important context.
But the idea that Zelensky, whose people have fought bravely for 3 years against a authoritarian adversary that invaded, that has taken an advantage at every single turn, has been nothing but a patriot, said even just last weekend that he would resign if it meant that they could get into NATO, right? That was after the accusation from President Trump, J.D. Vance, et cetera, that he was the one who's a dictator, that he was the one, that it was Ukraine's fault that all of this happens, when we all know, or anyone who's being honest, that it was definitely Putin's fault. And Jesse's right. The moment where Zelensky gets animated is when J.D. Vance asks him to just take it, to just sit there and go along with the idea that Vladimir Putin wasn't the aggressor in this, or the idea that Vladimir Putin is a diplomatic partner. Vladimir Putin is not a diplomatic partner for anybody. So you had a patriotic world leader defending his people and defending the thousands of lives, tens of thousands of lives that have been lost to all of this.
Neither Stalin, neither's Mao. Sometimes you have to do deals with bad guys.
But
Jessica.
he's not. America in life has done some deals with some bad guys, but that isn't what's going on here. And Donald Trump revealed himself. I thought the most shocking part was that Trump goes on to say, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt. And people have been saying since the beginning of this, since Donald Trump came on the world stage, that he is aligned with Putin. We saw in Helsinki in 2018 when he stood up there and he sided with Putin over the intelligence agencies. He says, well, Putin told me he didn't do it. He told me he didn't meddle in the election. And then are you comfortable with an American president saying Putin went through a hell of a lot with me? Are they buddies?
I went through a hell of a lot with you, Jessica, with the Russia.
Okay, making a joke of it means that I made a valid point, just for the viewers at home.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Take it to Charlie.
So you have somebody, and it's been going on for a long time, where you have this person who is bilking the American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars, and most Americans can't really tell you what our interest is over there.
Can I just add to that about the money and all this? Obviously, we have given them a ton of money, but 70% of the aid that we have sent to Ukraine has then been spent back in America. So when he, quote unquote, went and campaigned for the Democrats, that he was visiting a munitions factory that was producing weapons that they could then use. And Europe has been, as a share of GDP, almost doubling our investment.
So I'm not an economist, but the idea that you're going to take hundreds of billions of dollars of Americans' taxpayer dollars and light them on fire in Europe, I don't think that helps anybody. All it does is lead to inflation.
All right, save for the next block because we've got more.
So it was that specific clip at the end that Putin went through. A lot of things with Trump, something he reiterated, as you'll see in the clip with Caitlin Collins, when asked about a potential deal or whether Putin would invade Ukraine. Once again, if peace was ever reached, it really indicates how Donald Trump feels about Putin and where this situation is. But first, let's take a look at Trump's attack on Caitlin Collins.
We don't even yet know the names of the 67 people who were killed, and you are blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic control and seemingly the member of the U.S. military who was flying that Black Hawk helicopter. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think with the names of the people, you mean the names of the people that are on the plane, you think that's going to make a difference?
Does it comfort their families
They
to
are
hear you
a
blaming
group of
DEI
people that have
policies?
lost their lives. If you want a list of the names, we can give you that. We'll be giving that very soon. We're in coordination with American Airlines. We're in coordination very strongly, obviously, with the military. But I think that's not a very smart question.
But are you
I'm
blaming-
surprised coming from you.
Are you blaming air traffic?
So incredibly clear, Donald Trump does not like being pressed on his relationship with Putin, even though he's always happy to talk about it and praise him. And he's been very clear that he has a lot more trust in Putin than Zelensky. A dictator rather than our ally seems strange. But I guess that's Trump. But to respond and say you should be worried about CNN's ratings just goes to show the disregard that Trump and conservatives really at large have for this situation. They don't care, and we know that. But what I think is important to point out here is that it is the same type of not caring that we see in Elon Musk actions in the Department of Government Efficiency. They don't care because they don't understand what they're breaking because they are too stupid. Donald Trump does not understand the importance of our allies. He doesn't understand the importance of the relationships we form through USAID. He doesn't understand foreign policy. He is a stupid person who is easily swayed with flattery. That is what this is all about. They don't know what they're doing and they don't care. That is why they're taking the action they are. It is important that we point that out, that they fundamentally misunderstand government. They want to say that it's broken because they don't understand what it does to improve your life, full stop. And there is, of course, a lot more to unpack about all that happened today. And I think Senator Mark Kelly did a great job doing so.
And this is a gift to Putin. And make no mistake, and I hope the American people get this, that this makes us look weak. And it's not normal behavior. The United States, Chris, we are a superpower. Our powers, our military, our economy, our diplomatic corps, our professionalism. This was not professional. We don't gain anything by acting like bullies. And this is what bullies do. And just because you act this way, by the way, it doesn't mean that you're tough. So this is a mess. I hope we can repair this relationship. President Zelensky and his country, they are grateful. You know, saying thank you in the Oval Office, being put on the spot like that is, it seemed to me that it was just, J.D. Vance saying, hey, look what I can do, Dad. And it doesn't help the situation. This negotiation should have been done behind closed doors. And this morning we had a good meeting. Democrats and Republicans in the Senate that support Ukraine. We had a good meeting with the president. We talked about a lot of issues. We didn't do it in front of cameras intentionally. Roger Wicker, in fact, asked, there were some cameras there, and we had them leave the room before we started to have the discussion. That's the way you should do this.
So let me ask you then about where this goes from here. And I wonder where you think your Republican colleagues will be, because, and I can't say that I have done an exhaustive search because I've been on the air, but I've only seen one Republican member of Congress, who is a member of the House, say anything negative about what they just saw in the Oval Office. And where does this go from here? And does Congress have any role in it at all?
Well, we have a role. I mean, we do our own negotiations. We do our own diplomacy, so to speak. So we do have a role. We can push the administration. Hopefully we can get them to come back to the negotiating table here. But we are in a much worse position. Our European allies especially are looking at this and they're thinking to themselves, I mean, what just happened? What happened to the United States of America?
Donald Trump has turned his back on America, and it's not the first time, of course, but really since January 6th, this seems like the most stark example of a complete abandonment of liberal ideas, of caring about democracy, of America's standing on the world stage. I don't want to say fortunate, but fortunately, on January 6th, it was only 2 weeks till Biden was sworn in. We got 4 years of this guy. And so it is up to us to push back against him to maintain some semblance of respect for this country on the world stage. We're going to be calling them out every single day if you want to support that. As always, you can hit that subscribe button, you can leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around at the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments, and until next time, I'll see you soon.